Welcome to Excel 2013 Statistical Analysis video number 11. Hey, if you want to download this workbook and the grade zipped folder that we're going to use for this video, then click on the link below the video and you can download these. Hey, in this video we want to talk about importing grade data to make a histogram. And we're going to use the new feature Power Query. Now this is something you have to download. Earlier in the class I showed you how to download it. Our computer labs and classroom have this as a download. Now I'm going to show you this example. We're going to take grade data for various classes and build a histogram and look at it. Now this is not something that's going to be on a test, but this is the kind of thing that's going to happen to you out in the working world. You're going to have a bunch of data, and if you know how to use Power Queries, it's a few clicks instead of hours of work. Now let's go look at our folder. And the way it's going to download, it's going to say grade zip. And I'm simply going to unzip it by right-click, extract all. And instantly it'll ask me where. I'm going to say extract. And there's the folder. If I double click and open it up, what we have are text files. And again, this is grade data from a large span of years for various classes. And we want to build a histogram from this. Now the thing about text files, .txt or .csv, these are text files, and databases and systems that analyze data, like Excel, have to communicate with each other. And so oftentimes the way they send data back and forth are these text files. Now, we could open them or import them one at a time in Excel. But the beauty of Power Query is we just tell Power Query where this folder is, and it'll go get all of the files for us. It's quite remarkable. Now let's go back over to Excel. We need to get the data, so we go to Power Query. And we go to Get External Data. And strangely enough, we go From File. But down at the bottom, it's From Folder. Boop. Browse. There's you browse to wherever your location is. Mine's on the desktop. I'm going to select this grades and click OK. Click OK. Now it imports all three files. There's a bunch of information about the files, but we don't want it. The only column we want is content. So I'm going to right-click. Remember, this is Power Query. Right-click the content and remove other columns. Boop, they're all gone. Now I can come and click this double arrow, and it will totally expand the files. Now there's one strange thing about this. When we import it, well, the field names are at the top. That's not strange. Class, and then there's the class. We'll use that as our row label in the pivot table. Grade will actually count based on classes, and year. So those are field names. That's not strange. But I'm going to click the drop down. This is a filter, and it always shows a unique list. Now on big data sets, it says list may be incomplete. So I'm going to say load more. And sure enough, it says class. That's the actual name of the field. And the reason why is because when we imported multiple files, way down at the bottom somewhere, it mixed it up and it put the field name there. And there's actually a grade and a year too. So when you come, after you import, you come and you filter out the field name. Now once we filter out for this column, it'll filter out the other ones too, because it'll remove the whole record. Now this is really cool. This is a filter that Power Query is using, and when we click OK, it totally cleaned up the data. Now we have this table that we can close and load to our spreadsheet. But I want to come over here first and name this, just in case we ever have to look at this or use this again. Grade import, enter. And now we close and load to. It's going to come as a table. We don't want it on a new worksheet. We want it on our existing worksheet. And I actually don't want A2. I want A1. Whoop. Click OK. Click load. You got to be kidding me. Look over here in the workbook's query window. 75,000 records. That is just amazing. We can close this. Let's control down arrow. Wow, 75,000 records. Control home. And now we want to build our frequency distribution. Insert pivot table. We're going to use a pivot table, or Alt-N-V. And I don't want to put it on a new worksheet. I want it on this existing worksheet location. Let's say E1. E1, click OK. Now I'm going to drag grade down to rows. Right-click group. And this goes from 0 to 4. I'm going to say increments of 0.5. Click OK. Ambiguous labels, because we have decimals. We talked about that in the last couple of videos. Highlight. We go to Home, Editing, Replace, or Control-H. I want to, and this is from the last video, I have a dash, and I want to very carefully put a space, UP, space, TO, and a space. Now I'm going to say Replace All. Click OK. Click Close. Now we can drag grade down to values. That is a lot of counts. Now what's so amazing about this is Excel and Power Query and pivot tables make this large data analysis quick and easy. Now notice we have a year variable. I'm going to close this field list. And actually, before we add the year back, I want to name this. Grade category frequency. And we'll change the column width here. Now what I'd like to do is, since there's so much data here, I want to be able to see how the frequency table will change based on year. So this is a pivot table. Amazing feature. Analyze. Over to Filter and Insert Slicer. It's just a beautiful, fancy filter. So I'm going to click on this. Year. Click OK. Now, before we make this look better, just check this out. You click on any one of the years, and you've got to be kidding me. A slicer to instantly filter this data set. Now, there's a Slicer Tools option ribbon. I'm going to come up here and say maybe 4 columns. Point down and pull to the edge. That's looking pretty good. That is amazing. So we can select any particular year. Now let's make our histogram. Insert, column, cluster. Click on the title. Grade histogram by year. Delete the legend. That's chart junk. Delete the horizontal lines, the vertical axis. Data labels. Let's say data labels up at the top. Click on the columns, right-click Format Data Series or Control-1. We can change the gap width. I'm going to go over to our fill. We're getting the hang of this. We've done this a few times. Vary colors by point. I don't need the task pane anymore. Right-click, hide all field buttons. Click and drag. Maybe right at the top there, and now I can instantly select any year and check that out. The histogram is totally changing. So Power Query from file, from folder to import a bunch of files, pivot table to create the frequency distribution, chart to create the histogram, and even this amazing slicer, all to do statistical data analysis. How much fun is that? Now, we'll actually use this exact same data set again in other chapters when we're learning other statistical techniques. All right, we'll see you next video.